my phone off of my kids. There we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Tell me when we last.
Life.
Are you serious? You do this every time. I told you gotta do is like 1, 2, 3, something. Is it live?
Yes.
Do y'all see me? Is anybody responding?
Yeah, somebody's watching.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Welcome to the Gym City Mama. I am your advocate and host, Brandy, also known as the Gym City Mama. Today's topic is different. I have Miss Stephanie here, who actually reached out to me in regards to her story, and I felt her story was very interesting from the perspective she was coming from. So she is the mother of a son who was convicted of murder, and let's just dive on in, Miss Stephanie. What year did this transpire?
Actually, the anniversary was just in October. It's October 6th of 2012.
Okay, so he's been incarcerated.
No, 2011, I'm sorry. Ooh, yeah, 2011. He got sentenced in 12.
Okay.
But the crime actually happened October the 6th of 2011.
2012, so 11.
Yeah.
So he's been incarcerated for 12 years now.
Yeah.
Now, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Hamilton, Ohio. And then my mom moved to Dayton. And then we moved here when I was 5.
Okay.
And I went to school here. I went to Lowe's in Hickorydale, and then went back to Lowe's for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then I went to Fairport, and then on to Meadowdale.
Okay.
And then in 92, my grandmother got sick. My mom's mom got sick, and she's the only one out of 8 that's not in Hamilton. So my mom moved back.
And you moved back with her?
Right. I moved back with her. And then I finished school there, but there's not too many people know that. They like to think I came out of Meadowdale.
Oh, okay.
Because it was my senior year.
Oh, okay.
So,
then you moved back.
yeah.
Okay.
So I still claim Meadowdale. But, and then I just grew, I was 17, and then I had my son here, though. My son's father is from here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved there, and then met my daughter's father, and then we got married. My grandmother passed away. My mom moved back here. Mm-hmm. Then when me and my ex-husband split,
Mm-hmm.
I came back.
Okay. So you were married to your son's father,
My mother,
or your
my
daughter's
daughter,
father?
my daughter's
Okay.
father.
So that was your son's step.
Correct.
Son.
Correct.
So was your son's father active?
Yes.
He was active.
Yes.
His family
Yes.
active. Everybody was
Yep.
active. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
His grandfather, his dad's dad, has always been there. Dion, always there. I never had an issue with him. Good father. He was active. Took him on vacations with him and stuff because we were there, and he would leave Dayton, swing past on his way wherever they were going. So he involved him, with his, because he was married. He got married and had 2 kids. And so he involved my son in all his family stuff. So he was very involved in his son. So he had 2 dads. He had one in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and then he had Dion here.
So did he have a great relationship with his stepfather?
Yeah, actually he did. They fought after when he thought he was grown, and Rico would try to discipline him. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they got along great. His demeanor, his demeanor and his morals and a lot of his outlook on life comes from my husband versus his father. Okay. He wasn't with his father every day. He lived with me and his stepdad. So that's where and I see a lot of resemblance of the way he thinks comes from Rico. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
So was your son a troubled child, or was he
Actually,
straight and narrow? Or?
he had his. I'm gonna tell you when up until he was 9, he had my grandmother, and when he was 9 is when my grandmother passed away. And now looking back 23 years ago, I see he changed at that.
That's when that was the
Yeah,
turning point.
he never grieved. You know, I don't know if necessarily if he didn't know how to, or being prideful child that I know he is. I think he just tried to be strong for everybody else, because he's very mature for his age. So I think he just kind of maybe didn't know how to react, and he never shed a tear. He never shed a tear the whole ordeal of her being sick in the hospital for the 30 days prior to her passing, or any of that. Never shed a tear. And his whole world crumbled. She was the mom that I was trying to be because I was so young. I was 16 when I had him. And I didn't have nothing figured out. You know, my parents are drug addicts. I didn't have nothing figured out. And when we moved to Hamilton, my grandma was like, oh, he's mine. She made a difference between me and her other grandchildren. I'm the only black one. So she made a difference between us. And I know now that I'm almost
So
50.
your grandmother was Caucasian?
Yes, my mother's Caucasian
Oh, okay.
and my father is African American.
Okay.
And she made a difference. I was the only black kid. And the whole, up until I was in my 20s, well, including my kids, but one of my cousins got married to a black girl, and then they had mixed kids. But I was grown when they got married. So it was just me and my 2 kids for years.
So your son had a great relationship with his Caucasian grandmother,
Great grandmother.
great grandmother.
Yes, very good relationship. He practically lived with her.
Now, did he come up in Dayton or he came up in Hamilton?
He came up in Hamilton.
Hamilton can be kind of rough.
Yeah, it can be.
I lived
Yeah,
in
it can
Middletown
be.
for
It's
5
small.
years.
It's
so
small.
I was like,
Everybody
back and
kind of know
forth.
everybody.
So
Yeah.
I know it can be kind of rough.
Yeah,
down
it's
there.
small. And I didn't raise him in the hood, but you can't get too far from it in Hamilton.
Right.
Because it's so small.
It's so small.
Exactly.
It is,
So
and
we
everybody's
wasn't
family down
necessarily what they would say in the hood. We lived in Lindenwold.
Okay.
So, and that's where he committed his crime at as well, which is just a neighborhood basically, because my address still say Hamilton, Ohio, but it's a neighborhood. And Westwood, same thing, kind of. So
what age did he commit this crime?
he was 20.
He was so he
Yeah.
was an adult.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
So
yeah,
did
he was an
graduate
adult.
high school.
He did not. He absolutely did not. I couldn't get him to go to school.
So after 9, he just
was-
kind of like
Yeah,
started
and I could
spiraling
see
out
the
of control.
rebellions. He didn't always give me issues. He had more problems outside my house. There was discipline in my house, and he knew there were consequences. I made the rules, Rico enforced them. And that's just the way we was a team, and it was us against the kids, and it worked. It worked. They were well behaved at home. When I asked them to do something, I didn't have an issue. He had the problem outside. He wanted to be the man. He walked around with his chest stuck out. As soon as he lost his virginity at 14, he walked around with his chest stuck out. You don't pay bills in here. So that's kind of when me and him
Started
kind of going at it. And him and Rico going at it. Because he thinks he's running something in here and he's not. And you were fine yesterday before you had sex. Now you've had sex and now you the man.
Okay.
So that's when the problem started. That's when I would say that the problem started in the house.
So that was like
He's selling
14, you
drugs.
said.
He's carrying guns. I'm finding scales in his room. Just whatever. So he want to be the center of attention. He want to be the man. That was his his image. Even being young, just, 16, 17, 18, just like he was hard. Like, and I don't know, that was his hurt speaking out. Now, looking back, it was his hurt. He just didn't know how to process nothing. So he just didn't care about nothing.
So what led up to? Tell me what transpired. What led
To the crime?
up to the crime? Exactly.
Okay. When I left Rico,
Which is your
my
husband at the
yes,
time?
yes.
Okay.
When I decided to end the relationship, they were confused. My children. They wanted to go with me, but they didn't want to leave Hamilton. They didn't want to come here because I was staying with my mother, and back and forth. So eventually they did come. So I had them with me, and when they realized I wasn't going back, he said, "I'm out," straight back, without my supervision. That's how I kind of felt. Even though now I don't feel the way I did when this crime first started. I went through a whole lot in the last 12 years to get to where I'm at right now. But he was surviving. Didn't have his mommy there to feed him. So
And
he was
what, 18,
he was
19?
yeah,
Okay.
18, 19. And he was surviving. So he got into the pill selling business. Not he didn't sell crack or heroin or meth or anything like that. He sold pills. But he hung with the other drug dealers. So what he would do was, if the person that was getting the script wanted other drugs that he didn't sell, he would bring his buddies along with him, and they would do a switcheroo here. You give me the pills, I give him the money, he gives you drugs.
Okay. So it's like middleman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when this night occurred, the girlfriend of the victim owed him money.
The girlfriend of the victim owed your son money.
Correct, for pills.
Okay.
Or pills, however she was going to pay. I still really never got the gist of it, because while he was on the run, because he was on the run for 3 months, and while he was on the run, I had absolutely no contact with him, because I don't want the people looking for him coming to my house.
Right.
I knew they were going to come because I'm his mother.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie.
Right.
And he knew it. Stay away from me. Just have somebody contact me, let me know that you're safe, that you're eating, if you need something. But other than that, he doesn't contact me, because I'm not going to lie for him. I'm not going to turn him in. But if they ask me something, I'm not going to lie. So the night in, exactly. So
now, was she Caucasian?
yeah.
The girlfriend was
Yes.
Caucasian?
Yes, and the victim.
The victim is
Yeah,
Caucasian?
absolutely.
Both Caucasian?
Yeah, older
Okay.
too.
Older.
Yep. 56, I think. 58, maybe. 56, 58-ish.
The girlfriend was in her
The-
50s too?
I'm thinking she was close. Might have been early 50s, right at 50.
Okay.
But the victim is 50. I want to say 58.
Okay. Caucasian, 58 male. Okay, I'm with you.
So, the night at hand, he
Wait,
goes.
before we go further.
Yes.
And your son is a black man.
Yes, 20 years old,
And this was committed in
in Butler County.
Keep going.
And he goes to the house, and prior to him getting there, well, going in, no, he was there. He just hadn't went into the house yet. Somebody that he had been into it with was across the street standing outside. So the driver said, "Hey, you see who's across the street?" He says, "Yes." He pulls up his armrest and reaches in and gets a gun and hands him the gun and said, "This one thinking he needed to protect himself from the one across the street. My son gets out the car. My son's in the back seat. The passenger gets out as well. They go into the house. So the victim lets him in. They discuss the girlfriend and why he's there. And she's not here. I have nothing. Well, I'll call you when, I'll have her call you when she gets here, whatever, I'll call you, whatever. So my son says, no, that's not good enough for him. He's gonna take the TV out the bedroom. And when she comes with his money or his pills, she can get her TV back. So he goes to pull the TV back and unpull the wires out the back of it. And as he's doing that, the other guy that's with him yells, "Hey, look!" He turns and looks. The guy's coming up off the bed with a knife in his hand.
The victim.
The victim. He's got a knife in his hand. He's walking towards my son. He's asking him, what is he doing? They're having words back and forth. The victim says, give me some more drugs. I know you have some. Just add it to the bill. And Stefan said, I don't have any drugs. I didn't come over here for that. No. When she pays me, then when I come back, then we'll discuss it. But right now, no. I don't have any, and no. He says, yes, you do. He pulls the gun. Pulls the knife. My son pulls the gun. They got a knife and a gun. The victim smacks my son's hand with the gun in it. My son shot him in the leg, and then he kept coming, and he just moved on up. And he shot him 5 times.
Oh.
So they leave. Boom, boom. Don't even take the TV. Boom, boom, up, out. Now, they get in the car. My son goes to the back seat, passenger back on the passenger side. They pull off. The driver has no idea what's happened. The passenger tells the driver what just happened. My son's laying in the back seat trying to collect himself. And now they're driving around and they got to get rid of this gun and they got to get rid of my son. And they go over a childhood friend of his that lived right by me and went and sold the gun to his older brother. The mother overhears this conversation. These are 2 grown men selling a gun. Okay, her child's not a minor. And she overhears gun and money. So after my son leaves, she goes to where her son is and said, hey, what gun, what money, what gun? Give me that bag. She takes the bag with the gun in it and takes it to Sonic and throws it in the trash can. So she gets called to a witness stand and she gets up there and tells that she threw it away at Sonic in the trash can. But the police don't get word of this for like, I don't know how long goes past. So trash gone, there's no weapon.
Right.
Well, so now he's on the run. He goes to my mother's house in Dayton and decides he's going to go on the run. I don't think it's a good idea. Other things can happen. You're going to tack on charges on top of this charge, and or something's going to happen to you. This is not a good idea. But you know, who am I? He's 20 years old. So I hug him, tell him I love him, and not to contact me because I don't know nothing and I don't want to know nothing. So I'm out. So I leave and go home. So he's on the run. About 70. It wasn't quite 2 months yet. Knocking on my door looking for him. And when they come in, I told them, free, have at it. You go search all you want, and then we'll talk about it when you come back. So they did, searched my whole house, and then they came back, and I said, he's not here, he ain't gonna be here. So you keep coming here, you're wasting your time. He ain't coming here. And then...
So he is now in the Ohio Department of Corrections?
Yep, he's in London.
He's in London, and he's been in London for how long?
He's been in London 7 years.
And he started where?
He started in Warren, in Warren County, right there on 63 by Traders World.
Right.
He started in Warren, and then he left Warren and went to Madison. And then Madison, his level His
'Cause
level
London is max.
is what, London?
No.
No.
No, Lebanon is max.
Yeah, Lebanon is 3s and stuff.
Right.
Well, he was in Warren, and then he moved to Madison, and when he got to Madison, his level dropped to a 2.
Okay.
And so he couldn't stay there anymore because they had changed their policies. So they only had level 1s and level 3s. So the job he had at the time was dealing with the elderly, because he's always with the elderly. That's his thing. Was to make sure this little Puerto Rican man got to get his medicine every time he had medicine. So that old man was going across the street. So he went with him. And he stayed with him until that old man went home. About 6-8 months after they went to London, that old man got released and went home. And so that's how he got to London, because he followed that
The
old
old man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. So when you reached out to me, I let you tell me only a tidbit of what transpired, because I like everything to be authentic.
Right.
And I'm just as shocked as y'all listening. But the one thing you did say in our conversation was that you wanted people to understand the other side
Yes.
in terms of both parties are at a loss.
People never think about the shooter's mother. I've never thought about. I get blamed more than anything. What did you do? What kind of education do you have? What kind of mom was you?
It's always the mom too.
It's always the moms.
It's always the mom.
And that's why I wanted to come on here.
Okay.
I was in the visiting room visiting my son. I go once a month and a half for 12 years. And this lady was in there, and we met at the vending machines. And I can tell when they're lost. They don't know how stuff works. They don't know where nothing is. So if I catch them up there and I'm there, I'll offer to help them. I've been in this facility 7 years. So she said, well, you seem like you've been doing this a long time. I said, yeah, I have. I said, he's been here 6 years. I think it might have been about 6 at the time. And this was her first visit.
But before we go further, so how long does he have though?
He has life with parole after 18 years. So he's got exactly
6 years
less than 6, like 5 years and 10 months to the parole board.
Okay. So continue the conversation.
So when this was her first visit, and she just was praising me that I'm handling it so well. I didn't know what she was talking about. What do you mean? Handling what?
Right.
And then she said, I'm a mess. I sit in my car and I cry for an hour and can't pull off. And I just stood there. I remember that. I did that too. I cried for probably the first 3 years every visit. I would be walking out and he's sitting at the table. Each facility is different, but sometimes they'll let him leave as I'm leaving. But then when he was in Warren, he had to stay seated until I was out. And just the thought of leaving him there, it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. That's your baby, no matter what they done. No matter what they done, it doesn't matter. Don't matter to me. I mean, yeah, true enough, I don't want that, wish that had never happened. And I feel bad for their family. What about me? My son don't come to my house on Sunday. I can't even, I was standing in a picture at the prison. He can't even put his arm around me. We have to stand, can't even touch. We have to stand side by side like this and can't even touch. They have cut out hugging. You can hug coming in and going out. That's it. No hugging, no nothing. I can't touch his hand. I can't touch nothing. He's my son. That ain't my man.
Wow.
I ain't bringing him dope. Nothing. Ain't nothing funny going on. I've been doing this. I'm not going to jeopardize my visits and put me in prison for him. It's just, I understand that it does happen. You know, I witnessed it in Warren. The little girl put dope in the balloons or in something small and put it in his popcorn. And he was dumping it like this and missed his mouth. And now there's dope all around him.
Oh.
Oh yeah, she went to Marysville and he went to the hole and then moved to Lucasville.
Oh.
So it happens, and I know it happens, but now you got to put potato chips on the plate. You can't even take them in the bag anymore. You know, it's so many rules, but it's unnecessary that we have to go through that as mothers, but it's necessary because we have to keep them grounded.
They do treat you like they treat you
No,
like
they
a
treat us
prisoner.
worse than them.
Yeah, they do. I agree with that.
It's terrible. It's terrible, and we don't get thought of. As soon as the crime happens, it's victim, and not to take nothing from the victim. This ain't about them. This interview is not about the victim, because that's all you hear. Rest in peace, my dude, my this, my that. Okay, well, what about the shooter? What about the shooter's family? Yeah, he made a mistake. One choice changed an entire family's life. Everybody's hurt.
Everybody is.
My mom's getting older. I just lost a son a month ago.
Right, and that's why I wanted to extend my condolences. Like, how are you here?
I don't know. Somebody got to keep going. I got to eat. I don't know. I just keep going because I have to. And that's what it's about. They just don't think about us. And I'm tired of it. We get blamed. These moms, 90% of these moms of these murderers, college graduates. We tried our hardest. We moved them out the hood. My son's never lived in the projects. Not a day in his life has he ever.
Nobody ever understands.
Lives in the projects.
It was also their choice.
100%.
It was their choice.
It took me about 10 years to grasp that, though.
It's their choice.
I found every reason in the world to blame me. Everybody else was blaming me. No, it was not my fault. It wasn't my gun. It wasn't my drugs. It wasn't my dope fiend. It wasn't my car he had. It wasn't nothing.
No affiliation.
Not at all. I'm all the way in Dayton, minding my business. He in Lindenwood, all the way an hour away. No, I had nothing to do with nothing. I still get blamed for it because of his raising. You don't know how he was raised. And actually, he was raised pretty good. They never was without lights, 15 outfits for school, 4 pair of shoes. You know, my ex-husband's a great provider. I don't take that from him. But these kids, I don't know if it helped them or hurt them. Did it spoil him so much that he felt like he had to keep up with that? And there he is in the streets instead of getting a job because the job ain't gonna pay him enough? I don't know. But it ain't my fault.
So you and his relationship now is like what?
100% the bomb. The best. We are the best now we've ever been. My son is doing great. My son is doing better.
Do you feel like he's, and I say rehab because we're talking about the Department of Corrections.
Well, let me tell you,
rehabilitation.
This I'll tell you about. I've got good and bad on that.
Okay.
Okay. The good part about the rehabilitation part, it's all on the inmate.
I agree.
100%.
I agree.
He is my prime example of what I'm going to tell you is all on him. Nobody, the programs are there, the education is there. It's up to them to put forth the effort to do it. Has nothing to do with outside, nothing. It's all on the individual. They can lay on their bunk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week and do nothing. Or you can be like my son and within the first 6, I'll just give you his accolades.
Okay.
6 months into his sentence, he had his GED. Then he got hot-headed and he started rebelling against himself because he's the only one that's got to suffer and go to the hole and be in trouble. So about 4 years, he just went farther down. He just wouldn't stay out of trouble. He was just fighting. He was just angry. He was angry at everything. He found 10 reasons to be mad at his dad. He found another 10 to be mad at Rico. My ex-husband, he found another 100 to be mad at me. He's mad at my mom. He's mad at my daughter. He's mad at my son. He's mad at everybody. He's finding reasons to be mad, to act out. About 5 years into his sentence, he got involved in a program, his first program, besides his GED, his first program. And it was all about him. The whole, I think it was 7-8 week program, and it's all about him. Starting with accepting accountability, number one on the thing. So what they did was they started the program off with write me a paper, unlimited, not limited to nothing, about you. Well, and he had to turn it in at the end of the program in 8 weeks. So he goes through it and he's telling me all what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. He's learning this and accountability. I just keep hearing that accountability coming out his mouth. At the end of the program, he says, Mom, you're not going to believe this. And he said, at the end of the program, remember I told you how we had to write a paper on us? I said, yeah. He said, well, everybody in there turned in about a paragraph, about a half of a paper. Mama turned in 8 sheets. I said, oh. He said it was so good and so into detail, I actually cried over Grandma. Remember I told you he never shed a tear?
Right.
He never shed a tear until he was 27 years old. And she died when he was 9. He said, I feel so much better, Mom. I got it all out. I read what he wrote was so well wrote that she asked if she could keep it and use it as examples for her future classes.
Okay.
So I didn't get to get it because he gave it to her. And that, right now in 2023, he teaches that class.
So that was his turning point.
That's his full circle. So he's got his GED. He facilitates 2 classes, including that one. And on the 13th of this month, he finishes his associate's degree in business management. He graduates January the 8th. Last week of February, he starts his bachelor's degree. He's already taken classes for it now because he's done with his classes from the associate's degree. And the counselor hooked him up to where some of them is going towards that bachelor's degree. So he's ahead, like, I think 2 semesters on his bachelor's degree. So then when he finishes it, he'll be done completely in 25 with his bachelor's degree. So when he gets done in 25, he's going to go to Chillicothe, transfer to Chillicothe, and do their HVAC program. His dad's here in Dayton remodel houses. So he wants in on the family business, and that's his way of coming in. He's going to have his bachelor's in business management and then HVAC.
Awesome.
So that's his goal. And then his dad's got his childhood house he's already given to him. So he's got somewhere to go. All we got to do is get him out here and get him some driver's license. That's about all he'll need.
Look at there. God got a way of saving you.
Absolutely. And it saved his life. And I know it did. At the time, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I was looking. It was me. I was so hurt and so heartbroken because he took the stand in his own defense on his 21st birthday. I didn't do anything wrong. Why is my baby gone? And that I couldn't grasp it. Holidays come, birthdays come, and my birthday is 5 days before Christmas. So that whole week I'd be so emotional. Now I just celebrate his accomplishments.
And ultimately for you, you also indicated when you reached out that you wanted to start a group.
I do. And Moms of Murderers.
You want to start that
Yes.
group? Okay.
Yes. I've got my
How are
page.
you-
I
how
got
are
my
you
page
moving-
name on there.
how
I
are
just
you
haven't
moving
added
in
it.
that?
I've got my page up, the group up.
Okay.
I just need to add members. I went through my friends list the other night, and I think I'm only that I know of. I think I'm only friends with two moms. So if anybody, is needing any kind of support,
Y'all hear this?
you're just starting in this, your child, it doesn't necessarily have to be male, it could be female, and you're having a hard time dealing with this, reach out to me. Stephanie Ball, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, reach out to me. I'm trying to get this group going because there's so many moms that's where I was. That blame, that it's not our fault.
So you want to offer the emotional support?
I do, because eventually my ultimate goal is to get a business going, to get vans to get these moms to these prisons to visit these sons. Daughters as well in Marysville or DCI, but I just keep saying sons because it's my son.
Right.
And to get these moms, there's so many moms that can't get there. They don't have the means, the money, the transportation. They don't even know it now. To even visit, you gotta have a smartphone because you have to have an app to be able to schedule the visits. It's all on an app.
Really?
Yes. So if people these moms are 50, 60 years old, they're not
They don't
tech
know how to
savvy.
do that.
Exactly. I want to offer that help to them.
That's sad. They're making it harder and harder for them to have a visit.
Exactly. And
That's a
they've
barrier.
got sons that are outside Cincinnati and they're in Cleveland. That's 4 or 5 hour drive for them. That they don't have the gas for that, or even a car. They might have one of what I call is a city car. You can't leave the city in it. You know what I mean? For safety reasons. So I want to reach out. I'm trying to get it together. Because now I'm okay with me. I'm okay with him in this time. He's going to come home and he's going to do great. So he's never been a child to do things twice anyway. He get in trouble, but it's never for the same thing. So I'll never have to worry, and I can about guarantee you I'll never have to worry. He won't be a statistic to go back. He's already setting himself up. He's got a support group. He's very good support group. And he calls home every day. He's talking to somebody every day. And we're keeping him up with time.
So you in Dayton, right?
Yes,
now.
I'm in Dayton.
Okay, so you need to be hooked up. I told you where
Yep.
to go.
Yep.
I told you who to call.
You did.
Okay.
You did.
You ain't called.
You did.
But you will call
Yes.
when you get there. Okay. Well, I thank you, Miss Stephanie. Does anybody have any questions for her? Is there any questions or comments for her? No?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Maybe you can ask them to do that.
If anybody has any question or comments, please type. She is an open book, as you see. She reached out to me.
I want to get this business going to help these moms, but right now I'm offering support. And I might know something they need to know. They have any questions about how the visiting works or how
Just
anything about
has to do with
exactly.
the system itself.
Exactly. I'm
I mean,
12 years
cause
into this.
because it definitely don't come with a manual.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And these moms just don't. And then they got other kids, They got an 18-year-old that's in trouble, but then they've got minors at home. What are they going to do with these minors while they're on these visits? That could be a reason why they can't get there. Somebody got to be home to get the kids from school or to school.
Somebody asked what prison is he in?
He's in London Correctional in London, Ohio.
London.
Yeah.
They something. All of them something.
Yes, they are.
'Cause I've
Yes,
vis-
they
I've-
are.
I've
But
visited
like I was
a few.
saying though, his status even
So you can see if there's
Oh,
a
the
question.
comments. Okay,
he
thank
even
you.
got his status dropped. His manager, his
How
case,
old is he?
he's 32 now.
He's 32. Okay. He doesn't have any children, does he?
No,
He didn't
thank
get
God.
to.
Woo! Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
My heart breaks hearing your story. Stay strong. So tough.
Thank you.
Stacey Slaughter says love. Hey, Stacey girl. Nicole Walton just sent a heart.
Thank
It's
you.
just, this is a, it's a unfortunate situation, but it's such a common
It is.
situation.
It is.
Anymore.
It is.
It's
That's why I want to help
especially
these
here.
moms because
Like,
it's
become
and we're emotional
norm.
already. We're
Yeah,
already
it's
emotional.
becoming part of
And
the norm.
yeah, I mean just being women and if you have a child old enough to do this, I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming that you're 40, that's menopausal as well. So our emotions all over the
said
place.
menopausal.
Yeah, emotions all over the place. So I mean it just is. But I am here. Anybody can contact me. They can get some information
Yes,
from Brandy.
right.
If
Miss
you need to get in
Stephanie
contact
Ball.
with
So
me, if you have any
guys need
questions,
right? Any questions? Any concerns?
if you want to
any
help with this
comments?
group, if you know any moms that is struggling with accepting the fact that their kids is done
How
this
did you-
horrendous.
So how did you decide? I mean, how did you come full circle with it?
Well,
Prayer, faith.
a lot of prayer.
Did you have a support system or a support group, or did you kind of just like get through it the best way you knew how?
Well, at first I didn't. At first I was drinking.
Mm.
At first I was drinking. I didn't know what to do, Brandy. I didn't know. Just like you said, there's no manual. All I know is my son has committed the ultimate. And where do we go now? What do we do now? You know, do we hire an attorney? Where's that money coming from? Mm-hmm. Do I trust a public defender? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's just so much into this.
Okay.
Then the suspect is crazy. He's
And that's-
can't
let's-
accept
let's-
what he's done, and now he's.
How was it? How was the victim's family? How were that?
You know what?
How
Pretty
was
good.
Really?
Yeah, I know his son.
Because
Me and his son is around the same age.
The media cover this because the media can do.
Oh yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Well, he didn't. I don't know how he was with his family, like the victim, because he only had a brother and two sisters show up to court. I think that was two sisters, or it was the brother's wife or sister's husband. Mm-hmm. That's it. No children, and I know he has a son. His son's my age, man.
Oh, so you knew the victim?
I know. I don't
You
know
knew
the victim at all.
Oh.
I knew the victim's son.
Oh, okay.
I know after it was all said and done, I caught that last name, and I'm like, huh? I wonder if they're related. And then I got to asking some people, and they're like, yeah, that's his dad. And I'm like, oh wow. Then when we got to court, I expected to see him. He wasn't there at all. So I don't know what type of relationship he had with them, with his, children or family.
His family.
Yeah, because it was only two females and a male, and these people were in their 60s. So I don't know where, or
So it
what.
wasn't
That
a
courtroom
lot of-
was full of my family.
Okay.
And I think that kind of hurt my son, too, because my family's white. And I'd say out of the 50 people in the courtroom, 40 of them were white. So it kind of looked like my son didn't have no family there. Is what it kind of, if you would go white
Right.
race wise, it
Just
looked like my
just the visual.
yep. If you was the juror looking out there, you'd have been like, ooh, there's only about 7-8 people here that's black,
So he was
for the
really stereotyped just based on.
and his juror, the youngest juror was older than me. The youngest juror was like 2 years older than me. How is that a juror of his peers? You can find no 20-year-old voters, no 29-year-old voters.
They don't.
These vote that jury pooling is something.
Was the victim? Here's a question: was the victim a convicted felon?
No, not that I know of. They didn't mention that. All I know is what they said about him was that he didn't have any of his prescription drugs in his body. They like stressed that. That's what the defense kept stressing, is that he didn't have any. He got these prescription pills, and he didn't have. And the prosecution portrayed this man as being a broke down 80-year-old body, a 58-year-old man in an 80-year-old body, and my son was 20 and vibrant. And he could have just shot him once, maybe even hit him in the head and ran out the door because he's so young and vibrant. And this man is 58 years old and gets like 7 different scripts of pain pills a month, but ain't none of the pain pills in the system.
Wow.
And he had a knife, because we had the knife in the evidence. They had the knife in the courtroom. So they got the knife that he had. But the reason, because my son didn't say anything about any kind of passion or any kind of, that's what the judge said, that he didn't specify any form of passion. So she wouldn't let a manslaughter charge be in his equation for the juror. So it was either self-defense or murder. There was no middle. Because had there been middle, he would have been charged with manslaughter. He'd be out. He'd have got 13 years, 3 for the gun and 10 max for a manslaughter charge.
So when they stated no passion, what was meant by that? Like,
so she can't give a manslaughter charge or any kind of manslaughter,
Well,
whether that be voluntary or involuntary manslaughter or just manslaughter. So because he didn't portray any form of passion, like you come home and catch your, yeah. So because he didn't show or portray any kind of passion in his story, remember I told you my son took the stand and told what happened, and because he didn't portray any of that, she couldn't find any manslaughter to put in the equation. So it was going to either be self-defense or murder. They wasn't going to find him self-defense. You just portrayed this man as being half dead. How's that not?
Do you think him taking a stand?
And he's in that man's house.
Right. Do you think him taking a stand hurt him? I mean, but the way it sounded like he was wrong anyway.
I don't know if it necessarily hurt him, but it damn sure didn't help.
Right.
And he was real respectful. That's what I commend him on. Keep saying no, sir, and yes, sir, to the prosecutor that's this close to you, screaming in your face. I mean, he was screaming so bad and so loud to him that I almost came unglued. That's still my kid.
Right.
He's this close to him screaming, "You're nothing but a murderer. Why, you're a drug dealing murderer." And I'm this close to him. And my son kept his composure, just kept saying, "No, sir. No, sir." He was like, "You murdered him. You shot him 5 times. You murdered him." And my son just keeps saying, "No, sir, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. He had a knife. He had a knife. If he never would have had the knife." And then he was like, "You took that gun in there because you knew that's what you were going to do." And he was like, "No, he gave me the gun because the dude across the street, blah, blah, blah." So
being that you
stated
early on that he was not, he had never shed a tear, and then he later shed the tear while he was in training, I guess, so to speak. Is he now remorseful for
very
anything,
much so.
For everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and takes full responsibility.
Okay, so he now displays
Oh, yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So he's
absolutely.
now in touch with himself.
Yep. Takes accountability, responsibility. Tell you right now, it was his fault. He has learned so much by teaching these classes, because he's teaching this the program changed its name. It's not about me anymore. Now it's called first offending timers. First offending timers, and it's for first offenders. So he's in there speaking first. He don't have a problem with public speaking, so he's up first telling his story to open up the doors for them to feel comfortable to talk in these programs. You got to talk, you got to participate in order to get your certificate.
Certification.
Yeah.
Or certificate.
So, and when he got his status dropped, he went to his case manager and asked him, what did he need to do? What can I do to get you to look into getting my status dropped, because I want to leave here? And the case manager said, bring me 1 year from now, bring me 3 programs and we'll talk about it.
So he's now a model inmate.
Perfect. So he goes back in there a year to the day. And the man said, what are you here for? He said, you told me come in here a year from now and to bring you my 3 programs because you're going to look into get my status dropped. And the man said, give me your 3 programs. He handed him 9. The man said, oh, say less. Stefan called me a week later and said, Mom, my status is dropped to a 1. So he's at a level 1 now.
So what does he think about you starting a program?
He supports me 100%.
So he was okay with you coming on here telling his story?
What he said was, Mom, I don't know what you're going to say, but just be mindful of what you're saying. He knows me. He knows me.
Okay.
And he said, you don't know who your viewers are. Just be mindful of what you're saying.
That's very true.
I said,
that's why I was kind of cautious, but I was like, I'm going to let her do the talking.
I don't know what she's going to ask me.
No, I just kind of let you do the talking because I didn't know. And I didn't ask.
I'm willing to talk. That's why I told you I was excited about it. I'm willing to talk about it. I want to help somebody. And I'm hoping today what I'm doing right now will help somebody watching. Or somebody's watching can refer this video to somebody that might need it, or they can contact me because I'm wanting to help because it hurts. It hurts like hell. It hurts. It hurts to pull out that parking lot and leave your baby in there. It hurts.
No matter the crime.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The crime doesn't do nothing to us. That's my baby. I don't care what, your kids get suspended from school. Same thing. You mad at them, still your baby.
True.
Doesn't matter. He didn't do nothing to you. He did something to the teacher. That's how I feel. He ain't do nothing to me. He's still my baby. And I'm love him and I support him 1,000%. And I'm going to keep supporting him. Wow. He calls me every Sunday. We watch the Sunday morning show on CBS every Sunday morning. And he calls me and we talk about it every Sunday. And I just talked to him on my way in. He just did a program all weekend. It's invite only. And with him being able to watch my other son's funeral via Teams, the warden case manager set it up.
Allowed him to do that.
Set it up so that I could tap into Teams and he could watch the entire service. And I could take the phone around and he could see people he ain't seen the whole time we've been in there. So he got to interact in the funeral from the prison, from the warden's office.
That was a blessing. Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, I made that phone call. I called 3 different people trying to get that done because he can video, but the service, right. My phone might work, his tablet might work.
Right.
So, and it's blurry, and I wanted him to be able to see everything and participate and talk. And then I was able to lay the phone up there and let him talk to Just while we all walked away. And so he had his moment. And that's what I wanted because he couldn't be here.
Well, if y'all know anyone that needs support from an inmate perspective, or actually, dang, which side of the fence you on? I don't even know which side of the fence you on.
I'm just a mom of a murderer.
She's just a mom of a murderer. I'm glad you own that, though.
I do.
Because owning it, that's what keeps you moving forward. Until you own it,
you
can't move forward.
I can't change it. No, I don't worry about stuff I can't change.
You're just a mom of a murderer. Oh, Miss Stephanie, give me a hug. I'm glad you reached out to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
for having me.
Giving me the opportunity, because when you reached out, I'm like, okay, but I had just reached out. I told you I had this topic itself had been on my mind. So it was confirmation for me as well. But for you to allow me in your space, I thank you so much. You know I got the roses for you. You know everybody get their little roses up in here. Give all my women they roses and your
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's toast up. We're gonna have this shot of bourbon with brandy. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. It's still smooth.
It is cold too.
I like it.
I do too. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I don't even know what the next time will bring. You never can tell. My life is like a roller coaster right about now. But stay tuned and thank you so much. Gem City Mama, we are out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Girl.